Hello and welcome. I'm Lou Serrano, and this is Real Estate Wednesday. Before we begin, I'm trying to grow this YouTube channel, so if you please subscribe and click on that bell icon, I'd greatly appreciate it. You'll get notified of the very next video. Also, if you smash that like button, it will help with the algorithms and help me grow this channel. Today, we're going to talk about the 10 biggest mistakes new real estate agents make when they first get into this business. And today, I thought I'd have a very special guest join me. And so the person sitting right next to me has been a real estate agent since 2003. She not only helped me sell one of my homes, she helped me also buy one of my homes, and she's also helped several of my friends buy and sell some of their homes as well. So please welcome to the program, Shalimar Verini-Barker.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me. I know this is going to be a lot of fun.
It's going to be a blast. So that our viewers know a little bit about you, why don't you just tell us a little bit about your background?
Well, like you said, I got into real estate in 2003, and that basically came about after I bought my first home in 2001 and had about the worst agent that I could have possibly had. So I learned a lot from that experience. I'd been interested in real estate for some years prior. I had worked as a finance manager, and I had a degree in administration of justice. So fields that worked very well together. So I really thought that, if I got into real estate, I could really be kind of a one-stop shop for my clients. Got in, did very well right out of the gate, had a lot of referrals, which is really the great way to go. And then, of course, as we know, the market fell apart. And that was when I realized that in order to stay relevant, I was going to have to come up with, some different ideas. So I got into training at that point. There's a platform that's used in real estate called Zip Forms, and so I became a Zip Form certified trainer. And because agents had a lot of time on their hands, I was reaching out to people, doing some marketing to brand new agents and even brokers. I started getting a lot of calls from brokers. So that is what kept me going when the market just fell apart and allowed me to, keep my career going. And I also, in that point, got into management as well. I worked as a sales manager for Dealback. I was an assistant team leader for Keller Williams and CALABASAS, and also the training director for them. So I've got, I want to think a well-rounded source of information and a lot of experience, and I like helping new agents.
Well, as you know, I'm new to this business, and I'm really interested in this topic, the 10 biggest mistakes new agents make when they first get into this business. So what do you think are the 10 biggest mistakes?
Oh my goodness. Okay, so I think for me, what I see a lot, and when I was training and hiring realtors, I really had to spend a lot of time on expectations, because there are a lot of realtors that will come into this business because their brother Joe became a realtor, or their friend down the street became a realtor, and that person knew somebody, or his aunt was selling a house, so boom, something happened to them very quickly. So a lot of realtors will come in and they'll have those same expectations. They're going to expect that they're going to make money right out of the gate, that it's a lot easier than it actually is, and they end up, a lot of realtors, I'm sure you've all heard that there's only a certain amount of realtors that will actually make it. A lot of them drop out within the first 2 years. And I think that this is the main reason why, that their expectations weren't set correctly in the beginning. So there's a lot of things that you've got to think about when you get into this business, as in any business. And it's good if you can put these things down and realize, is this really the career that you should be in, and can you sustain it? So those expectations are going to be a lead off for about everything else that you do.
So the number one thing is not managing expectations.
Not managing expectations.
All right, that's a good one. That's something that I've been thinking about as well, trying to manage my expectations. I expect to kill it in this business, but hey.
And I know that you will.
So we'll see how things go. What's next?
I think the next thing, and probably the most relatively really important in relationship to your expectations, is understanding the finances that are behind this business, okay? You have to have a financial plan, and you have to have some seed money. So it may be, relatively easy to get into the business, get your license and that part. But once you get in, you're going to need to have some money set aside for, and I really like to say this, the first 6 months, the first year. If you can set something aside for the first year so that you're able to really put yourself out in your best light, not have to possibly work another part-time job, but really, commit yourself to this business, then you've got, a stronger chance. And I think there's too many agents that don't do that. They don't have the money that they're going to need for marketing, for example. You've got to buy signs when you first get with a brokerage. People complain about the money that the signs cost. Every brokerage is going to have E&O insurance. That's another piece of the financial puzzle. You need to be able to know that you can afford to pay that, and there's deductibles involved. So you need to have some money set aside, and you need to be willing to hold it for that, put it for that, and realize that you might have to be lean in a few other areas.
Yeah, so what do you think about somebody that's going into it, like, let's say part-time?
Well, part-time can be difficult, but that's really a kind of a tough question, because it's really going to make a difference according to the individual. If you have a lot of friends and family, say you're in the same town that you grew up in, and you've got all your high school friends, you've got your elementary friends still, you've got a big family, these people are going to be a source of business from you. So it may be, you might be on a faster track than, say, for example, somebody who really doesn't know a lot of people.
Maybe new to the area?
Yeah, new to the area. So for them, it's going to be a different situation. They're going to need a longer amount of time to kind of get the ball rolling. So it really does come down to the people that you know and the people that are there in the beginning to support you.
I think that's one of the biggest things that people don't plan for, is making sure they have enough money to
Yes.
get by those first few months, right?
Definitely. I'd say my next thing, that I would talk about for beginning realtors is choosing the brokerage that they're going to go with. A lot of people are going to choose a brokerage based upon the wrong reasons. They're going to choose someone that maybe some friend said, oh yeah, I heard so-and-so was good, go sign up with them. Or there's a brokerage, right down the street that's close by, so they think, okay, that's easy, I'll sign up with them. There's a lot behind choosing a brokerage. There's a lot of questions that need to be asked. There's a lot of differences with different brokers. You want a brokerage that's going to have a really good educational program. You want somebody that's going to be honest with you, give you the information that that you want to know when you need it. You're going to want someone that has a lot of training programs going on, be it virtual, for right now, for example, or when things get better, a lot of in-house training. You really want a good support system. That support system is super important, and it won't be the same with all brokerages. A lot of people make the mistake of simply looking at what's the split the brokerage is going to give them. Split is important, but it's not the most important thing. I can tell you that when I started out in real estate, I started out with Prudential John Arrow, and I love them. I started with a 50% split, which is nothing.
Wow.
But I moved very quickly. But I really, really, really had an amazing training program. I ended up having a mentor, and within the first year, I was one of their rising stars, and I was sitting on panelings at that point teaching other realtors. So it really does make a difference that you have some faith in the people that you're working with. It doesn't always have to be a super established brokerage like, say, a Keller Williams or a Rodeo. It can be a smaller boutique agency if they're willing to put in the time and the effort that's needed to support their agents.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest things that I was concerned about was making sure that the broker that I chose would have enough training, that that support with training. So I think that's one of the most important things in choosing a broker.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
A lot of realtors, once you get your license and you get, you're out there, boom, I'm licensed, now what do I do? The actual process of moving into the real estate and getting those first transactions isn't exactly the same as it is when you're sitting with a book and you're getting, learning what you need to learn for your test. Real world experiences is going to be very, very different. So being able to have that support, I really just keep going back to that word, but that support system is the most important thing you do, because that's the basis of everything that your career is going to go into later on. So if you can get those questions, if you can learn what you need to learn, and if you can realize that, one of the other things I have is realtors are often afraid to ask questions. They don't want to bother their broker.
Yeah.
They don't want to bother that other agent. So if you're in a brokerage that has a really good family atmosphere and you're dealing with people that want to help you, and again, I had agents that I could walk up to at any time and ask a lot of questions, and I really felt comfortable doing that. And if you're with a brokerage where it's not quite as friendly, then you're going to be inclined to skip some of the things and ask for some of the information that would really be very important.
So is that one of the biggest mistakes, not asking for help?
Absolutely. A lot of people come in and they think that, okay, I have my license, I'm supposed to know everything. No, you're not. That's not going to happen. It doesn't happen with anyone. Again, you're taught something when you're reading your books, you're taught something when you're taking your test, but when you get out there and you have to put your feet on the ground, it's a very different situation. And you're going to come up against a lot of different situations. You're going to have no idea. You're going to have no idea what you should be doing. So you've got to be able to reach out and feel comfortable reaching out, and understand that people aren't going to get mad at you because you reach out, or they shouldn't be. If they are, then you're in the wrong place. The people that you're with should want to help you and want to provide information, because we're not born knowing this. It takes experience. It takes a long time, and information is changing. Times are changing, so you have to be able to, kind of move with those times.
Especially with the technology, right?
Absolutely. Technology, that's another one of mine. Tech literacy is incredibly important. If you say you're a brand new agent and, oh my gosh, you get lucky your first month out there and somebody calls you and gets a hold of you and says, hey, I really want to look at properties in this neighborhood over here, this area. You need to know how to use the tools that are at your disposal. They're out there, you just need to know how to use them. Your MLS is extremely important. It's very, very important that you take your classes that are offered by the MLS. There's a lot of stuff that's online now with the MLSs. They've got everything there, and you can go on and you can take these classes at your leisure that will teach you the actual platform, teach you how to set up searches, teach you how to run radius searches, teach you how to do automated emails so that you're able to send information to your clients on a regular basis without really having to do too much behind it once you've got it set up. So you want to know how to use your phone. You want to know how to use the apps that are on your phone. California Association of Realtors have an app, Zip Forms, which is responsible for your contracts. They're going to have an app. You need to be able to, at the drop of a hat, jump in and kind of get an answer if somebody is needing something very quickly. So waiting until you have a client is not the time to suddenly go, oh my God, I better learn how to do this. You need to use your time while you're building up, trying to get your clientele, while you're just starting out in your marketing. Use that time to start learning your platforms and educating yourself. And we never stop educating ourselves. We never stop learning. It is a constant thing that you're going to have to be doing. So the better you are with your technology, the better off you're going to be. Okay, so I'm teaching about technology, or about understanding that you need to use your technology, but that training is what you're going to do in all those different places. You're going to go into your MLS to learn how to do certain things. There's so many programs out there right now that actually will have training modules that you can go into when you learn. You need to be doing this. When you're starting out, I would say you need to be doing this every day. You need to train yourself because, again, things change, rules change. You need to train yourself on your contracts. That is another one of my pet peeves. Hearing about agents say, I've had agents call me up on my personal training that I do. I've had brokers call me up and they will say, Shalimar, oh my God, I've got a deal coming up and I can't remember how to do this. I can't remember how to do that. And I will have to go over there, walk them through their contracts, remind them of certain things, help them with the questions they're going to need. And it's just, these are things you have to stay on top of. So as a new agent, one of the things I like to suggest to people is that, especially with the purchase contract, that you take that purchase contract, you can print it out from Zip Forms in the Zip Forms platform, and it'll print out a sample report for you and actually read every line of those contracts. And the cool thing about Zip Forms is, if you're looking for the purchase contract, it's going to automatically attach other disclosures that are going to be presented. Okay, so when you're making an offer to somebody, it's going to have your purchase contract, it's going to have these other forms that are going to come with it, because they want to make sure that you don't forget to add the things you're supposed to add. So you need to go through those contracts and you need to read them. You want to have a good understanding of what you're trying to explain to your clients, because if your clients start asking questions and you can't provide answers, that's not going to be a comfortable place to be.
So we have to know our contracts inside and out then, right?
Yes, you do.
Right.
And the contracts are constantly changing. They're always being revised. So again, this goes back onto staying with your training, making sure that you're keeping up on things. And there's a lot of great publications. California Association of Realtors is constantly updating things, new laws, new things that are going on. It's really a great resource for new realtors. Your MLS and California Association of Realtors are going to be, one of the best places that you can go. There's also some really good real estate publications out there. Inman Connect is really, really good. Inman Connect will put out all kinds of different articles regarding purchasing, selling. They'll give articles from a buyer's view, from a seller's view, from the agent's view. They'll talk about lending and lending, different platforms that are going on, how rates are changing, what's moving where in the market. So there's a lot of really good resources out there. You just got to kind of go out and hunt for it, and then really commit yourself to putting a certain amount of time, maybe each day, or at least every couple of days, and really staying on top and reading this stuff.
How many have we gone through so far?
Okay. I have a good one. Another mistake I think that agents are making when they're, again, and this goes back to education. It always kind of maybe goes back to education, but you really need to learn your local market. So if you're going to be working in one particular area, say you grew up in a neighborhood and you still live there, you want to find out as much as you can about that area. And again, this would be something you would do through the MLS. The MLS has the most amazing information, and it can be sliced and diced any way you want to look at it. But you want to stay on top of, the properties that are selling. Get an idea of how much they're selling for, like your 3 bedrooms. What are they going for? Your 4 bedrooms. What are they going for per square foot? What is this neighborhood doing that's different from this neighborhood? What are the schools in the area that you're looking at? What are the houses of worship? Are there special other a lot of local restaurants that are in a particular area? You kind of got to really get an idea of what's in these areas and kind of become a mini expert on them, so that when you have a client maybe that just pops up out of nowhere, maybe from a different area that wants to move into this area that you're working, you can say to them, oh my gosh, they've got the best elementary schools because these people have small children. Oh, they've got the best, they've got daycare centers that are really, really highly rated. Shopping is really close by. There's so many things that people are interested in. People are going to care about, the local bars and the restaurants. And you kind of have to have, just a general idea. Nobody's an expert in everything, but a general idea of what's going on in your area.
So not knowing your local market.
Not knowing your
That's
local
a
market.
big
Know
mistake.
your local market.
All right.
Here's another one. A lot of people don't really understand the time constraint in this business.
Yeah.
You're going to need to put in a lot of time. So if you're expecting to come into this and you want to work, 3 days a week, 5 hours a day, it's going to be difficult. Now, again, I go back to, how did you get into this business? Did you get into this business because your aunt was a realtor and she's retiring and she's going to hand you all of her clients? That might be a little different, okay? Newer agent doesn't necessarily mean that you're walking in with absolutely nothing. But if you are, there are these things that are important. You need to understand what's going to be involved in the commitment that it's going to take. So that commitment runs into education. How much time are you willing to put into constantly training yourself? How much time are you going to be willing to put into marketing yourself? How much time are you going to be willing to sit open houses? That's a big source of business for people when they're brand new. You can talk to other agents in your office. You can find out who's got listings going on. The longer someone is in the business, and if you're an established listing agent, a lot of times you really don't feel like setting your own open house. So you'll be looking out to other agents to kind of help you with that. So this is where a lot of new agents can gain business, is sitting these open houses. Well, these open houses, they go on the weekends. So are you going to be willing to work the weekend as well as Monday through Friday? Only you can answer these questions. So these are things that you're going to want to think about. And these are all things that you're going to want to think about early on at the very beginning of your career, because it's going to take a lot of time, it's going to take money, it's going to take a lot of effort all the way around if you don't have somebody that's feeding you stuff right out of the gate. And most agents aren't going to have that. So, being able to have a good understanding of what that business plan is, having a business plan in place. How much money do you have to put out for marketing? How much money do you have to put into your brokerage? How many signs can you comfortably order? How much money do you need set aside so that you can live while you're doing all of this? So these are things, having a business plan and understanding the commitment that it's going to take.
Having a business plan and a marketing plan, right?
Absolutely.
It's like most people don't have that. And I know, as far as like my business, my current business, which is entertainment, people see how much time I put into performing, but they don't see the 40 hours or 60 hours a week that I put into the actual business of booking those events. So
that's right. And that's what happens a lot, and that's, again, back to why some people get into this business, is because they hear about somebody that became a realtor, it wasn't hard for them, and they had a sale right out of the gate, and they walk in expecting for the same thing to happen to them. And it's not going to be like that. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of hard work. It's a lot of time. And sometimes it's going to take you quite a while to get your feet off the ground. It can be very frustrating. Some of the people you deal with aren't going to be pleasant. And that's, you got to have a little bit of a thick skin. You've got to have a lot of patience in this business. You've got to be able to deal with people that are going to ask you questions over and over, sometimes the same questions. I had clients, and I still have clients that I'll tell them something, I'll explain it, and then they'll ask me again, with a different twist on a word, and it's going to be the same answer.
That was probably me when I worked with you.
Yeah.
I had lots of questions.
Yeah, but that's okay. You're supposed to have questions. If you're not asking questions, that's not a good thing. You need to not only know what you're doing, and my thing that I've always tried to give to my clients is I'm willing to explain to you why you're doing it. Okay, so you're doing this, you're doing this, you're doing this, but I want you to feel comfortable knowing why you're doing it and how each step works with the next step and how it all flows together. I want you to be comfortable understanding that it's okay to ask questions, because we all do. Again, you weren't born knowing how to do this stuff, so it's okay to ask questions of your agent. Your agent should be willing to listen to your questions, be willing to have that patience and do what they need to do. As the realtor and as the client, you are our client. You're also, I'm not the boss. You're the boss, right? That's really how it's supposed to be in that relationship. I'm here to guide you. I'm here to teach you as much as I can. I'm here to show you the pros and the cons of doing something and why this way might work better, but it's going to be your decision. Okay, sure. So it's really important that you teach your clients that they are the person that gets to make the decision. They're the ones that are going to call the shots, and that it's our job, and having the patience to understand we need to really put in the effort for our clients. We need to be able to guide our clients honestly and fairly. We have a fiduciary duty to our clients, and it's important that our clients understand that, and it's important that we give that to our clients.
I also think it's important to figure out why you're getting into this business, because I think some people, they only look at the money, like how much money they're going to make. But if that's your only concern, I don't think you're going to really succeed in this business. You have to be a people person.
Yes, you need to pick something else if that's your goal.
So I think that if you keep that in mind, that you are here to help people, you're going to go much further than if you're just looking at the dollar amount at the end of that transaction.
That's right. And I'll tell you that is something that I've really tried to make a point throughout my career, is not being someone that has a conversation with somebody and immediately the second I walk away, I'm grabbing my calculator trying to figure out what my commission's going to be. I really have the firm stance and the firm belief that if you do the job you're supposed to do, if you work for your clients the way you're supposed to work, the commissions are going to come. That's just part of doing business. And the referrals that are going to come out of that, that's where your business really starts to take off. If you provide the service that you're supposed to provide, everything else takes care of itself. If you go into it starting to calculate every time, you're not coming from a good place. You're not coming from a place that's really going to be, I think, the place of someone who's really going to help people. I want to help people, I want to teach people, and I want to help them to get to where they want to be. I want to help them reach their goals. And if I can do that, and I can do that honestly and fairly and remember my fiduciary duties, then everything else is going to follow.
Wonderful, wonderful. Did we get through to all 10 of the things that you wanted to talk about?
I think we did. We might have even covered a couple more.
A few more, right? Well, it's all important stuff. I learned a few things out of this, so I appreciate that. So if people want to follow you, like they want to get more information on you, where can they go? Are you on social media?
Yes, I have a website, westvalleyliving.com. Yes, I am on Facebook. Yes, I am. You're able to reach, if you reach out to Shalimar Verini-Barker, you'll find me.
Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, right? Yep. Any parting words?
Well, I guess I just want to say that, real estate it's a great business. It really is, but you got to come from the right place. You have to really, really want to do it, and you kind of you want to see yourself doing this for a long period of time, because it starts out kind of tough. It gets a little easier. Then it might, look at us things right now. When the beginning of COVID hit, got very, very tough. So you want to be able to adapt to the changes that are going to happen, and they're going to happen some way around the line. You have to keep adapting. Really understand the time constraint that it's going to take. Come from a good place. Want to do it. Want to help people. Don't just think about the money. And if you can do these things and you can put the effort that it takes and put in your marketing and be willing to reach out to people, you're going to do okay. Yeah. And if you don't do okay, and if you decide that, hey, this is really, really rough, it's harder than you thought it was going to be, that's okay too. Not everybody is meant to do, there are a lot of people in this world that take careers on and it's really not the right career for them, and that's all kinds of things across the board. So, it's not going to be perfect all the time. It's going to have its tough moments. But if you walk into it realizing these things, I think that's part of the process, and that's part of the getting over the hump and realizing, okay, it's not going to be super, super easy. It's going to allow you to be able to handle what is thrown your way.
Also, I think we should keep in mind that closings do happen every single day, right?
Absolutely.
Whether the market's up, whether it's down,
That's
there's
right.
closings
Real
happening
estate
every
moves.
day.
Yes, people are going to keep moving. They can move for reasons that are good. They want to go live by their grandkid, and they can move for reasons that are bad.
Yeah.
You know, when COVID-19 hit, had a lot of people wanting to move out of California. So business keeps moving.
There you go.
That's right.
Well, this is wonderful. Thank you so much for being here and
You're
sharing
welcome.
your expertise with our audience. I just appreciate
My pleasure.
that. So, all right. Well, thanks again for following. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. And
That like button.
hit that like button, exactly. Or as they say, the new kids say, smash that like button. All right, you guys. Till next time.
Take care and good luck.
Keep pushing forward. That will help me with the
My lips are getting frozen from the smile.
Get your water. I'm going to start from the beginning.